What's going on? Ford Falcon 70,000 mile durability run part 1. This is from Old Bucko, and yes, we are talking about some durability testing in Oz with none other than the famous Ford Falcon. Let's watch this. This looks really cool. I love old experiments like this. They did a lot of cool things in the automotive industry a long time ago. It sounds like everywhere. I know they did here too. Really exciting. Here we go. Dang, they're hauling, huh? Hauling ass.
You are watching the beginning of what proved to be a fantastic performance. The Falcon Mobile Durability Run. 70,000 miles at more than 70 miles an hour. This agony went on for 9 days and 9 nights. More than 200 hours of multiple car torture. 5 vehicles, stopping only for fuel and tires, amassed a mileage equal to 3 times around the world. Yet it was done around a punishing circuit of only... It's very unlikely that anything similar...
The audio cut out. I don't know how long the circuit is they're on, but that's a lot of miles in no time. Only stopping for fuel and something else. I can't remember what he said. That is insane. These are really cool to see. I think they're a little bit different than real-life use, of course, but durability tests, to see how good some cars can do is really fun. This sounds awesome. How fun would it have been if this was your job? Wow, I want that.
Will ever happen again. The very nature of the performance calls for more information. Where and why did it happen? First of all, where?
Australia, baby. Yeah, look at that landscape.
On the slopes of the Yang Ranges near Geelong, Victoria.
Cool.
On part of the
Near
recently
Geelong.
constructed £750,000 proving ground.
Wow.
1,800 acres devoted to one objective: product quality.
That's
This
cool.
is a place where they make potholes, spoon drain dips, bone-shaking corrugations, jump-ups, where they simulate curbing stones and silent cops, where the camber of the road is deliberately wrong, where powdery bull dust, water and mud are popular. Cars selected at random stay out here for weeks, their every movement planned minutely. They log thousands of miles, subject to regular checking for signs of wear and tear. If there's a component weakness, they'll find it, and it'll be rectified.
That's so cool watching them do these suspension
Confidence
tests.
ratified here
Look at
led
that
to a
one.
courageous decision. An announcement to the Australian press that 5 stock model Falcon sedans would travel a total of 70,000 miles in 9 days around that 2¼ mile bitumen circuit that was not built for speed. Many
Wow.
experts said it couldn't be done, but confidence and determination go hand in hand. A starting date was set. There would be no turning back.
Dude, this is cool. I wonder how these are going to do. Older cars, a lot of them were built pretty good. Some of them weren't, but a lot of them were, a lot of your famous names are famous for a reason, right? They either sold really well or they had an extremely good reputation. I think the Ford Falcon definitely is famous for probably a lot of reasons, but I'm going to assume that these probably did pretty well. I mean, they look like they're doing good so far.
There was no electricity, no water, no phone, no power. But Ford built a small town to house the 100 or so involved. Letters of invitation had assembled 23 drivers from all states. But for most, there was no time for practice laps. Just, there's your uniform, park your bags, get your helmets and stand by.
Wow.
Drivers Rayburn, McLaughlin, Ellis, McPhee and Volkers were on the starting grid waiting for the 10-second countdown. Ford Managing Director Wallace Booth gives them the start flag.
Look at that. There they go.
The date,
Go beat
Saturday,
'em up.
April 24th. The time, 8:28 a.m. Ahead, continuous non-stop driving for 9 days and nights. 2 of the cars were 200 cubic inch and 3 Pursuit 170s. Right from the start, number 1 with the bigger engine driven by John Rayburn set sail after the 50-kilometer record. It took the lead and stayed there. First lap, 1:48. Apply that to 2¼ miles and you get 76 miles an hour.
Wow.
This surface durability track was built to test cars at 35 to 40 miles an hour. Straight sections had been deliberately avoided. But it was this fact, the 15 twists and bends plus the big hill, that caused the experts to say that Ford had bitten off more than they could chew. Too great a strain on engine, transmission and suspension. Time would tell.
So yeah, a lot of turns, constantly turning, constantly bending the body, the suspension over to one way. You're going to be getting a lot of tire wear, and not to mention on turns, you're actually getting the fluids inside. I'm talking about oil and stuff sloshed around to one side of the engine. That could be bad for long-term effects, right? Maybe even, fuel delivery problems. Obviously, this is old, so I think these were all carbureted. Not to mention change in elevation. You have some hills, and, I'm assuming there's some sections they have to use the brakes, I would assume. So, yeah, that'd be a big issue. This is cool. I like this.
In this kind of event, it's permissible to have a reserve car, but only 5 may be on the track at the one time. The bitumen was laid with sharp local granite, known to be very hard and abrasive. It was impossible to forecast how the tires would stand up, more particularly as the upper bitumen layer wore off. Dunlop SP41 radial ply tires were chosen and inflated to 50 pounds pressure.
Wow.
As the track was not banked, they'd have to withstand the full cornering force.
Jeez. Yeah, tire wear would be a big thing.
Always cautious, has both front tires changed at the first pit stop. That adds up to 1 hour 40 minutes for one tire. No timeout is allowed for pit stops, so the tension is at fever pitch to get out and get on with the job. The line to one bend could seriously affect lap times, so regular information is vital.
This is really interesting.
The 200 cubic inch automatic number 1 and the manual 170 number 5 have the fastest times.
Wow.
The whole event is being supervised by CAMS, the organization that controls Australian motorsport. No mean effort this. Takes 10 men whom drivers only see at the meal table. Sit here any time and you'd be impressed with the universal harmony, enthusiasm, and determination. Refueling was from mobile cans at first, changed later to gravity hoses. Note the visible tread on this rear tire as it's replaced. Plenty there, but a perfect example of the need to play it safe. To save time, wheel changes must coincide with fuel stops. It became obvious that tire wear was a measure of driver skill. In the beginning, some required a new offside front before they wanted petrol. The message was loud and clear. Many more would be wanted. This track is tough. As they found the line and speed through the bends, the squeal eased off and tire life increased several 100%.
Holy crap.
Estimates of tire life had to be made during continual wet weather. In the dry, the cutting, destructive effect of the abrasive track was greater than anticipated. This made pit stops quicker and longer, which in turn upset the roster. Drivers weren't getting enough time off. There was only one answer. 10 more were flying in from interstate. On the job, you quickly lost all sense of time, and the calendar certainly didn't count.
Oh, wow. That would be weird. Hard on the driver, too. Durability.
70 miles an hour is high speed in any language. None of these men, all experienced race drivers, had driven this fast at night. Again, the skeptics forecast that average speeds would have to drop very noticeably at night. But as usual, the men concerned were better than anticipated. They gave the credit to the cars. Certainly, night driving was tougher, but providing they were fresh, these men shared the general confidence and welcomed the challenge. Sleep was the problem. These were not all Ford men. The one common factor was love of motorsport. There was a chemist, 3 policemen, a butcher, grazier, a ladies' hairdresser, but they knew cars and knew what should be expected of them. Many were asking if it was fair to expect any stock model sedan to stand up to it. Something would have to break or snap. As the hours piled up, so did their praise.
Wow, so they're looking good so
don't hold
far.
Much water. A sluice at midnight found another use for a mobile drum. There was no possibility of one-arm driving, not even time for a smoke. They had to remember the course exactly, and the light stabbing into the black funnel ahead had to give them the exact line to each bend. Relax for a fraction, and you'd lose it. It was cold out there, and the cars weren't heated. They might have got drowsy, particularly as none of them could get more than 3 hours sleep at a time.
Oh, jeez. That's got to be rough. This is like a human durability test.
For about an hour, you'd be driving flat out into the rising sun.
Ooh, yeah. That'd be rough.
You leave a tire on too long, you go through the casing ply, let the air out, swerve to control, hit a guidepost, lose your bumper bar, put it in the boot, get round to the pit as fast as you can for a wheel change. Apologetic, but glad you did no more damage.
This is crazy, man.
In the first 24 hours, number 1 was driven by only 2 men, Rayburn and Firth. The distance covered in that single day was equivalent of Adelaide to Perth, and at over 70 miles an hour. A tribute to skill, engineering and endurance. Policemen Sutherland and Mottram take over as the news is transmitted to press, radio and TV.
These are doing better than I thought they would.
Down to routine. 27 hours, 3,600 laps and 8,300 miles. All going well. Even the pit crew had time to relax.
Look at them sitting down, relaxing. This is going too well, huh?
All is quiet out here on the granite-strewn slopes of the Uyang Ranges.
Cool area.
One of the feared dangers had been an occasional wallaby or rabbit.
Yeah.
Now they're less likely as the press helicopter adds its noise to the bedlam of racing engines and screaming tires. In the caravan area, another rude awakening, but the pressure is easing as new drivers arrive, like Bob Jane from Melbourne and Ian Gagan from Sydney, seen here with pit crew boss John Shepherd. Jane won the 1964 Armstrong 500 in front of Seaton and Firth. Now all 3 are part of a team of 32 men, pushing 5 cars to the limit. Not spurred on by laurel leaves or a banker's check. Their sole inspiration, the opportunity to drive fast for long hours, with confidence in both the car and in themselves.
God, that looks so fun.
Loose metal formed both shoulders of the road. If drivers were a fraction off line to the next bend, they could spray it. This built up into a hazard for others behind. Solution? Get rid of it. But don't go to sleep on the job.
Yeah, no kidding. Look at that. Wow. Oh, that's it? What the heck? There's a part 2. Okay, we got to finish it, guys. Here's part 2.
Rain had fallen heavily for many days before this started, and a depression appeared in the apex of one of the worst bends.
Oh.
Drivers were losing half a second of lap time to avoid it. Doesn't sound much, but it's 50 minutes in 9 days, and more than 50 miles. This was the result of a slight let-up in concentration. No one hurt, the damage is bodywork only. Subframe still perfect. When she did get going again, number 6 went faster than number 1 day 1.
Oh, what the heck? That's wild. Dude, this is really interesting. These things are doing well. God.
You need a controlled 4-wheel drift through the S-bends. You could do it lap after lap, and then perhaps be a little casual on line or speed, and bingo. Number 2 hit a guidepost and tore into the scrub. Again, no one hurt. Mechanic's verdict, panel damage only. Soon underway again.
These cars are tough,
Late
huh?
afternoon, and the sun on weary faces as they signal the time for lap 9,380. This is another period of concern for every driver. The shape of the track meant that at some stage they must also drive into the setting sun. They must allow for heavy dew and yet try not to lose time. The cam's timing is accurate to 1/100th of a second. Their final papers will record some 30,000 split-second facts. Cold as charity, but there's plenty of timber. They've done this before, and they know its value to keen eyes as the cars flash past. And it's comforting to look forward to a meal or a cuppa, no matter when you knock off. More than 3,000 meals were served. And remember, the water came in 44-gallon drums, power from a mobile generator and gas from a bottle.
This is wild, man. Even the operation there is wild.
Spare a thought also for the never-ending wash-up. We all had our problems. At least the watchman could boil a billy. This is day 4, and all going well. Nearly 12,000 laps on the score sheet. And suddenly, number 1 put a wheel in that loose metal and shot off the track at 70 miles an hour.
Oh,
Hit
jeez.
and moved a 2-ton boulder. No one hurt. Bad news travels fast, and all working in the black night were waiting for the verdict. Number 6 back in business. Number 1 became the reserve. Some of the drivers...
That number 6 car is taking one hell of a beating. You can see that. The other one, wow, I'm glad no one was hurt. That looks pretty bad.
Drivers were a little too keen pulling out of the pits.
Uh-oh.
Soon came the news that number 1 was okay. Rough panel beating problems, and it was going to be tough fitting a windscreen, but she'd be back in business.
Jeez. This
Dawn
is
again. The
this
worst
is insane.
in the roster lottery, but only a nuisance for about an hour. Despite the mishaps, everything was still keeping to schedule. Tires and drivers might be wearing out, but the engines performed as if they reveled in it.
I can't believe it, huh?
Wrong line. Number 4 puts its offside rear wheel into the metal. Tire wear, together with lap times, had shown that 152 was the most economical and least hazardous. That's 73 miles an hour. No need to take unnecessary risks. If we pull them down to slow motion, you'll better appreciate the constant agony on the whole vehicle as the full weight is thrust out onto the outside wheels. Each car is scheduled to do 6,000 laps, and this strain occurs something like 20,000 times.
Wow. Dude, this is crazy
One day telescoped
stats.
into another. Looking back, drivers could not tell you the day the Dunlop people came to see at firsthand the performance put up by the new radial tire. Not one blew out, but some were kept on too long. This one wore through and was driven round to the pits at high speed, hence the smoke. Worth mentioning that there was no instance of bead or casing failure, and not one tire left the rim.
Wow, that's impressive.
Another point.
This is exposing some really cool statistics, and I'm very impressed that everything is kind of doing not only just okay, kind of doing well. Everything's doing better than I would have expected.
That emphasizes the dreadful strain on all components was the sheet of shredded rubber confetti that appeared on
Yeah.
the verge of every tough bend, cut
Oh
off
my
by the
God.
abrasive action. Ordinary tires simply could not have stood up to it. Neither could the cars have done the job without a strong, tough grip, as they literally dragged the tires across the hard granite surface. Out for another load. Triple toot means he'll be in for petrol after 3 more laps. Get that mobile hose and stand by. Pit crew shift 12 hours. No chance to go walkabout.
This whole operation
Driver's
is
courage is called on at the foot of the hill.
very interesting.
They're doing 80 and need this perfect oversteer control. After getting through that bend, they must pick it up, negotiate a grim little right-hander, and tackle the hill at 80 to get over at 60.
Yeah, that looks like a
Gradient is
dangerous
1 in
turn.
4.
Oh, jeez.
At some time or another, all 5 left the track. This one at more than 90 miles an hour.
Oh,
It
my
rolled
God.
5 times. Larry Seaton at the wheel, but completely unharmed, thanks
How?
to safety belts. Not one door sprang open in any prang. The way the Falcon torque box or subframe withstood this treatment is nothing short of incredible. Once again,
Wow.
the big job is to straighten her out.
Oh no, rolling
In comes
5
the spare
times.
to keep 5 cars on the track, and number 2 becomes the standby.
I don't know if that car, the one that just rolled 5 times, is gonna be hitting the track. That's pretty damn rough, I would think. I'll be
On the
super
final
impressed if
Sunday,
that
with the
hits the
grand
track.
mileage tally around the 60,000 mark, another helicopter brought Henry Ford himself to look at the new proving ground.
No kidding.
See at first hand the performance put up by the Australian Falcon. He came at a stage when many were battle-scarred, giving little clue to their true mechanical condition. He watched veteran Harry Firth again take out number 1, the Scarlet Flyer. Watched him send her round just as fast as when she was immaculate. He must have shared the pride of all concerned in what was being achieved.
Look at that. Oh man, that thing seen some better days like 3 days ago.
Out came the honey gold number 2, fresh from the panel beating hammer, to show there was nothing wrong. Not exactly in showroom condition, but still a first-class car and very quick.
I'd take any one of these. Damn, these things are tough as nails.
But during those last few hours, all eyes focused on number 3. She too was going like clockwork. The only one in near showroom condition. Only a few scratches. Driven by McLaughlin, Arends, Foreman and Bartlett, she purred her way round the track more than 5,000 times.
That when they keep saying McLaughlin, that's not related to the present day Scott McLaughlin, is it? I don't know. Just asking. That'd be interesting if it was.
All concerned had fingers crossed, hoping that no sudden incident would prevent her seeing it through. She seemed smooth and unhurried, clocking her 72 to 74 miles an hour every lap. It's hard to appreciate that this is a family and not a racing car.
Yeah, no kidding.
As the sun went down on the last day, the forecast was that the 70,000 would be completed at about 3 a.m., some 6 hours ahead of schedule. Veteran McLaughlin was making sure his baby, Bluebird number 3, was in at the finish. Already she had the fastest times over the longer distances, and with only 6 hours to go, set out to prove that she was just as good as on day one by setting a fantastic pace for the 10 shorter distances, all at over 72 miles an hour. A perfect ending to the Falcon Mobile Durability Run.
This is insane.
Time 1:42 a.m. Monday, May the 3rd.
Wow.
It's all over, and even at this deadly hour, there's jubilation from the entire camp. And they didn't forget McLaughlin.
That's
With
so
a special
wild.
spot for the man in charge of it all, Les Powell of Ford Public Relations. Ford's confidence is eminently justified. Let's ask that man Les Powell for the company viewpoint.
We went out on a limb by saying we would do it. Our aim of 70,000 miles was achieved in under 9 days. Those results speak for themselves, and they're proof of much more than reliability and endurance. Now, there are a lot of tired men around here. Tired, but happy in the satisfaction of successful teamwork. By tomorrow night, nothing of our little town will be left. Screaming tires will have been replaced by methodical, 40 miles per hour, day in, day out, year-round testing and improving. In other words, though we have finished, the story has not.
Thank you, Les Powell. Yes, an amazing achievement is already history. A bold, confident challenge has become a fact. Those fast-moving 9 days, 216 kaleidoscopic hours, will leave an indelible impression on all who played a part. No two people will remember the same details, but common to all will be the sound of those screaming tires, broken sleep, odd meal hours, cold nights, eerie dawn, mounting suspense, and finally, a shared feeling, not so much of triumph, but of achievement. Achievement in proving that an Australian-made family car...
Oh, dang it. It cut out the end. No! That's like left us hanging. Dude. Wow, let me thumbs up part 2 as well. Same channel. These will be linked down below, by the way. Okay, so check them out in the description. Holy smokes. This is the XP Falcon, correct? Yeah, I think that's what it says in the description. Wow. Wow. I'm really glad that Henry Ford from America got to see that. That was very impressive. And that whole video was way more... epic than I thought it would be. Right at the end there, I got really excited when it all came together at the end. Wow, that was fun. Durability tests, they did it spectacular. Not only did they go through hell day in, day out, constantly hammering on them and turning and braking and all these things. I mean, they actually wrecked issues, right? Rolling over and all these things. And the cars held up. And then the fact that they threw this operation together over there, and then everything worked. They had a whole team of, people, someone's got to wash the dishes, someone's got to make the food, they have to get all the stats recorded, the lap times, everyone has to sleep, at some point. I mean, this was no joke. This is a real high quality operation here. Very impressed by that. Very fascinating. That was really cool. Really cool. That's all I got to say. Please tell me down below. Let's talk down below in the comments. Has any one of you guys had an XP Falcon? Because if you did, I hope it was loyal to you. It sounds like they were a damn tough machine. Wow. Those are super cool. Remember, I'm a Chrysler guy. I'm a Holden GM guy. But man, I gained a little bit of mad respect for Ford, especially with the Falcon there. That was beastly. Make sure to throw a thumbs up on this video because that was really cool. Subscribe for more stuff like this. Look for these 2 videos linked down below in the description, as well as other ways you can support my channel. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, guys, we'll catch you later.